Hello and welcome then to this Highway to Hell guitar solo lesson. In this video we'll be looking at how to play the solo and what we can learn from the positions and the scale choice. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more, please click the link below to take you to our website where you'll see write-ups for all of our YouTube videos, including this one, and hundreds of hours of free guitar practice. That's right, free, totally free. So guys, we are in the key of A major, at least I am, so this track is actually tuned slightly down, annoyingly, so if you want to play along to it, it's going to be a real pain. You're going to have to tune slightly. I'm in standard tuning for your benefit. So we're in the key of A, really A, kind of in between, but I'm an A. And it's a really cool, simple solo. There's not a lot of speedy sections, it's just phrasing and nice steady eighth notes. So the first thing you hear is this. Really like standard kind of rockabilly sound that's made its way through the guitar. Even up until 50 years later, people are still playing this. So what it is, it's straight out of the pentatonic, A minor, good old, and you're bending the 7th fret of the G string before playing the 5th frets of the B and the E with your first finger. So you can see I'm doing those just with my first finger. And you're repeating that phrase 5 times, essentially. But after the first time, rather than play both of those notes individually, you're going to pluck both of them together as a double stop, and you're going to hit it twice. So it goes from sounding like this to sounding like this on the second time. So 5 times, this is what it sounds like. Following that, then we've got this double stop with a bend, and that is on the 7th fret of the G and the B strings, and you do this little quarter bend following that little lick. So that is, after the double stop, 5 on the G, 7 on the D, 7 on the G, and then 5 on the G. So a nice little box shape in that pentatonic. Getting some vibrato and hitting the strings nice and hard as you do that. Following that, we've got this section, that little lick, I should say. This is a really nice little half bend from the 4th fret of the D. I'll bring this closer. Then the 2nd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the A with a quarter bend, and then pull off to the A. So from that double stop, that's a classic kind of rocky, bluesy lick that. So nice and simple, nothing too hard so far. Following that, we've actually got a bit of a shift from a minor pentatonic to a major sound. So we're going to jump now to the 2nd fret of the G. So you play that note, then you bend the 4th fret of the G, a full bend, so. And then you do this really tricky thing where you put your pinky across the 5th fret of the E string and the B string whilst holding the bend. And you actually get like a major arpeggio. So it's really difficult, it's a really cool lick, but it takes a lot of strength and confidence in your pinky as well. Not easy. Give that some time, give that some practice. Right, so once you bend it up, E string, B string, G string, bring the bend back down, and then go to the 2nd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the G string, followed by 5th fret of the D string. Nice and simple again. Coming into the last little part, we've got double stops on the 5th fret of the B and the G string. You play it twice and you give it a slight quarter bend. before hitting the 7th fret of the D string. And then the 5th fret of the D string. Okay? So let's play up until this point, then we'll finish it off. So we'll go from that very first, and remember it's 5, so see if you can count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the last little bit is this. So that is actually an A minor arpeggio, and I'm doing this by sliding from the 4th fret into the 5th fret on the high E string, and then with my first finger barring the high E, the B, and the G string, and then my 3rd finger playing the 7 of the D. And you just go down the strings like that: E, B, G, D, and then pinky on the 8th fret of the B string, slide into the 10th fret, and it's this fast slide, so you pluck it and slide immediately. And you play that note 3 times. So that last section is. So let's try the whole solo, nice and slow. We'll play it together, see if you can keep up. And once you've got it, start just building the speed and building the confidence of it. Alright, here we go from the start. Okay, there we go. So let's look a little bit about how he's approached this solo. So with this kind of bluesy rock music, it exists in like a major and minor space, in that both of them can sound quite nice. And there's an example of that. I mean, he starts in like a minor sound, and then jumps into major with that, and it sounds great, even though it's A major after an A minor. There's also this instance of this note, so the first double stop. So on that's 7 of the B string. Now for those of you who know the pentatonic, it's normally the 8th fret on the B string in this shape, not the 7th fret. So that note is a Dorian note in an A minor context. So I'll try not to get too deep here. You may have heard of modes of the major scale. Well, Dorian is one of them. What sets it apart is that it's got this interesting little exotic note, which is actually the major 6th. So you get this kind of like rocky, slightly bluesy flavor to the minor pentatonic. I mean, it's already like that, but it just adds it more so, and it's just a little touch. So that is an F sharp in this key, so which means it's a major 6th interval from the root note of A. So you've got a major 6th when normally in like a minor-y sound you've got a minor 6th. So it just adds this little touch, this cool little in-between sound. And you actually see another example of that when we go here. So that 4th fret of the D string is that same note, just the octave down. And you can hear that work so well when you bend it just a semitone up. So the note F sharp in this key of A kind of minor pentatonic sound, sounds great. So what you can do with that is, anywhere you know your A minor pentatonic, if you know more than one shape, start looking for where that note is within the shape, and see if you can just get that little bend in. And once you've got that bend in, you can start looking for other examples that you can put it into, or find ways for yourself that you like the sound of it. It's such a great little mix of major and minor in there, because it's in the major pentatonic but not the minor pentatonic. And then As I said before, that shift into the major sound, just a straight shift. He actually does a major arpeggio there when you do that bend. That's a major arpeggio just after a minor arpeggio or minor sound. So it works really well. It's just about picking the right moments to do it. Now, you can't jump in between major and minor if you're in a fully minor key. But this, a lot of the ACDC stuff kind of exists. You know, it's actually slightly modal in the sense that it doesn't sit within this a perfect major. It's slightly outside that realm. So it's the same with blues. A major pentatonic and a minor pentatonic of the same key work really well, just once you find the ways to do it. So there's some ideas for you that you can take an approach to. Look for that little Dorian note in any of these these minor pentatonic shapes. Just get that little bend in. And then see if you can look over the correct or appropriate backing tracks or anything like that. So blues or this early rock ACDC style. Look to shift between major and minor pentatonic and see if you can do it in the same position. So rather than like jumping all over the neck like major and minor, see if you can go minor, major, without jumping anywhere. Just see if you can get in the same box. Really great exercise. That might be a bit advanced for some of you, so don't worry about that. You'll come to that later in your learning. But for those of you who want to, take that on. Okay guys, that's been it from me. Best of luck with the practice, and I'll catch you next time.